Welcome back. The Chalky Milk Gang podcast. We're just back better than ever. Season 3, episode 9. It's the 27th overall episode of this podcast. We have a great cast today. We have me, we have Tyler, we have Will. Like, who would have thought? Just completely new guests here. We don't have any. It's just us. But, today we're going to be talking about the 50 states because if you don't know, we're actually from the United States. We're going to rank the 50 states. We're going to give you a top 10 and a bottom 5. It's going to be crazy. There's going to be some controversial statements in here, but just looking forward to having this conversation with y'all today.
Yeah, we're just here having a good time.
That's right.
Nothing we say will be serious, but at the same time, it will be extremely serious.
Yeah, it's all facts. There's no opinions here. We may not mean everything we say, but it's facts. So you just can't argue with it.
New Jerseyans need to prepare themselves right now.
That's right.
It's going to be a tough podcast.
It's going to be a tough one for them.
Hey, if you're from New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then comment if you're not from New Jersey.
That's right. You got to do that. Before we get into that, meat of the episode, do we have any chalky milks today? I know personally I don't. Tough week for me. But
So last week I had hot chocolate that I made in a bowl and then poured into a cup. And it was still kind of warm, so it didn't count. This time, I have hot chocolate that's cold, so it kind of does count. And it's in a mug and not all over my desk. It definitely feels like chocolate milk because it's cold.
Oh, really?
And it's made with milk.
I made it with milk, so it is just chocolate milk. It still has that, hot chocolate flavor. You know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say.
I can't describe it, but it's just a little bit there.
I don't feel like it would taste fully like chocolate milk,
Hot chocolate notes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the idea is there.
I'd give it a 7.8. There's just something about hot chocolate that needs to be hot, and I don't know what it is.
It's definitely good.
It's definitely good, but in terms of chocolate milk,
yeah, that's still really high. So that must be solid.
Yeah.
I like it.
That's exciting.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Is that it?
I mean, I don't know. See, here's the thing
is that it?
Chocolate. I think hot chocolate gets away being worse than it could be because they know that it's hot. And if it's hot, you're more paying more attention to how it's hot than how it actually tastes. You throw marshmallows in there and it's like, oh, it's so hot.
It's the experience.
Yeah, exactly. But then they can
also,
get away with making, the flavoring not that good. So
and also when it's hot, although the flavor is less important than it would be if it was cold, the flavor is more important than the texture because it's hot. So you're not focusing on any texture situation.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because if you make it yourself, it's not creamy, but it's hot, so you don't care. Just
yeah.
That is all. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I'm gonna keep it going. I got DH.
Oh, you do have chocolate milk.
3 Horizon.
Oh no.
I did get Promised Land, but my family drank the whole thing. I'm back at home in case you couldn't tell, not at college anymore. And so of course now everything is communal is that the right word?
Yeah, it is.
Everything belongs to the community. So now I got this instead. But I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. I've DHA Omega-3 Horizon has grown on me. It is pretty light, but if I remember correctly, it tastes pretty good. So
I remember I tried that during our ultimate episode. I was like, that's no good. That can't be.
Yeah, okay, maybe not. Never mind. Just there's nothing to it. I feel like I kind of glowed up on this one after having it a few times over the past videos. And now I'm sinking back down. There's not a lot of chocolate. There's not a lot of there's no cream texture. It's just there's nothing there.
Just too much DHA Omega-3. They just gotta pretty much leave that out, whatever it is.
DH3 Omega-A.
I mean, it's not awful it's not the worst thing I've ever had. I'm gonna give it a 5.9.
5.9.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't bring myself to give it a good score, but it's not the worst thing I've ever had. So, yeah.
I feel like we've rated it lower before because we've had that a few times.
I think I rated it a lot higher more recently, like the last time I rated it. But then before that, like the first time I rated it, the first few times, it was like in the fives. So
in season 2, we gave it an average of a 4.0. So that's interesting. I love the hot chocolate vibes, though. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Next week I'll have chalky milk, but that's just great analysis right there. I just love seeing you guys enjoy, God's greatest creation, chocolate milk. But let's just get right into this. It's gonna be a crazy, crazy episode. We have some crazy thoughts about these crazy states. We're in the United States, and everybody's united, but we're just gonna divide everybody with these controversial opinions.
Mm-hmm. Damn! Wow, those were big words.
Yeah. More words than I have in my vocabulary. I've been told I have 3 words in my vocabulary. That used more. So it's a crazy start.
So before this episode, we created lists of our top 10 states, and then also lists of the bottom 5 states and our own opinions, with only a little bit of collusion within the 3 of us.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna figure out who ranked what where. And I don't know who wants to go first. I don't even know which list do we want to go. Do we want to do bottom?
Bottom?
I think we should do bottom 5 and do 50. What does everyone think? Then 49. What does everyone think?
Sure. Yeah, I think. Well, right off the bat, I mean, maybe we say it on 3. It's a unanimous decision for 50th best state.
Yeah,
so that's the worst state.
Ready?
All right, 3.
1, 2, 3.
New Jersey.
Listen, they have good people. They have good chalky milk. But who would we be if we didn't rank it last? In our hearts, maybe it's not. But on paper, it is. And I'm sorry, it smells and.
Absolutely, it's a tough state. Shout out my dad. He's from New Jersey. Shout out Rick Porcello.
Shout out our previous guest, David Wayans. He's from New Jersey.
Shout out friend over at UMass, Mackenzie Smith. She's from New Jersey. But the problem with New Jersey is just like I don't know if it exists. I don't know if it's a state, because whenever I go to New Jersey, it just smells. It just smells, and I just see a bunch of power plants everywhere. I've only been there once. That's not going to the airport or driving through it. So just feels like it's not important state.
In New Jersey.
Yeah, it's like I've only been to the rest areas pretty much. I've only been to Newark Airport, which is it's all right, but it's there's just a lack of importance there besides for Rick Porcello.
You know what? If you disagree with our opinions, try to cancel us on Twitter.
Yes.
Because then we'd get more views, so that'd be kind of cool.
What was it? Honestly, New Jersey is the armpit of America.
That's right.
Chris Christie should have kept the bridges closed after Bridgegate. That would have been great. If New Jersey just fell into the ocean, I think we could finally get rid of it. What's the opposite of annexing a state? I want to do that to New Jersey. That'd be amazing.
D-Nex.
Let's D-Nex New Jersey, guys.
Yeah.
Can we make that a Twitter poll real quick?
I think we did.
D-Nex. Wait, no, there's definitely a word for it.
What was it? This needs a GoFundMe right now.
Yeah.
Disconnect.
Yeah, good. New Jersey needs to go by
detach.
Detach
New
Jersey.
Let's
just make it something else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hashtag detach NJ.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, it's a clear number 50 for me and you guys, I'd assume.
It's just factual at that point. It's a tough one. We have some close relations to New Jersey, and as a chocolate milk state, it's definitely up there. Yeah, as a chocolate milk steak, it's pretty good. Very meaty vibes, but no, as a chocolate milk state, it's very high. But in terms of a state, it's not. It's a tough one, but
that was not a tough one for me.
We have to state the facts. You know what I mean?
Anyway, if we continue on, number 49. I don't know what you guys put. I'm gonna go first if that's okay. I had West Virginia. West Virginia has awful food. I googled top 50 I googled 50 states and ranking of their foods on the internet. West Virginia was 49. So that should say something. I don't know things that are from West Virginia, and I think West Virginia needs to, like pick its stuff up because there's already a regular Virginia and that one's not East Virginia. So why are you West Virginia? Just pick a new name, maybe be a little more important. But they don't have anything going for them, frankly. So
I think West Virginia is a tough one. I definitely had him very low at the beginning, but I changed my mind just recently. I'm putting Mississippi at 49. It's just always last in like every ranking. Obesity problems, that's a fact there. They had like the Confederate flag as their flag for a long time. Like that's racist, and just I just don't get great vibes from Mississippi. I don't really know what it's there for. It's a tough one, I'd say. Mississippi at 49 for me.
You know, those are both great takes. I happen to actually agree with Tyler. I have West Virginia there.
Oh,
let's go.
You're talking about like last place and stuff. It is dead last in like education, I think. It just like represents everything.
One. Yeah.
It just like represents everything negative about America. And I honestly, I kind of love it. It's insanely iconic for that reason.
Yeah.
You know, like it's kind of racist. It's uneducated, stuff like that. And yeah, it's like, it's just like tagging along with Virginia. Like what? It's not like north south. Like those states, that makes sense. But it's like the main thing, and it's like the little guy. It's like,
dude, get your own thing. Like stop piggybacking here.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Also, fun fact. Was it Country Roads? Or was like West Virginia? It's not talking about the state.
What?
It's not talking about the state. It's talking about literally the western part of the state of Virginia.
Really?
So funny. You couldn't even get
that was the only thing West Virginia had going for it.
Yeah, that was the only reason for me why it wasn't 49. Damn.
Yeah, and that's not even true.
All right. Well, it stays there. West Virginia stays up for me because of that.
I do know somebody from West Virginia.
That's awesome.
Does not seem like he's from there, but he is.
I don't know anyone from Mississippi, but it's a tough one. 48? What are we thinking?
I put Ohio. It gets a lot of slack. Flack?
Yeah. Ohio's a tough one.
Listen, you know, there's 3 major cities, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Columbus. Why do they all start with C? I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a little bit for the meme, but you know,
Mm-hmm. What about you, Tyler?
So for this one, I had North Dakota. I don't know. A lot of that was the same logic. It's like, what was it? South Dakota obviously exists in tandem with North Dakota. But South Dakota has a thing. It's got Mount Rushmore. And even if that's not like, I don't know, like, whoa, that's insane, but it's like a tourist attraction. It's a reason that South Dakota isn't in the bottom 5. North Dakota doesn't have one of those. It's just useless. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't see any relative purpose coming out of North Dakota. It doesn't have any huge major cities. Like, I don't know, nothing like of worth and anything, you know? So it's just, it gets lost down there at the bottom. That's for sure.
I would put North Dakota pretty low, but, you know, I just love me some North Dakota State Bison football, FCS. So you gotta love that. For me, 48's Alabama. I just think it's Mississippi, but has Alabama football, which makes it better. You know, I see very common similarities in Mississippi. You know, uneducated, a little racist, just not great. Like there's the obesity problem there. Like those are the 2 states where it's very problematic. Just, you know, I just don't, you know, think it's like the greatest thing. You know, I think that Alabama football is probably the best college football thing in the country, which is awesome, the best program. But, you know, I just don't think it's, you know, very good in comparison to the other states.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, good reasons, solid good reasons.
Mm-hmm. 47.
47. I had Wyoming for this one.
Ooh.
And I kind of forget why. Why did I put this there? Can I see a map real quick?
Like there is the question of like whether Wyoming exists. Like that's a meme.
Yeah, and I think for that reason alone, it gives it some value.
Where is it? Oh, it's okay. So it's below Montana and above Colorado. Montana and Colorado both have inherent value. Colorado is in my top 10. Montana is gorgeous and has all types of good skiing. It has national parks. I don't know. Wyoming has the other thing I think it was is that I know they have awful food, and food is so important.
Food is very important.
You eat food, guys, and they have bad food there. So Wyoming is at 47.
That's totally fair. For me, I got South Dakota. Wait, do I? Yeah, I have South Dakota. And I know we just talked about North Dakota. And I get it. You make good arguments. But may I say, this is opinion based. I think if I'm thinking of all the states, I know there's Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. But I'm not thinking of South Dakota before I think of North Dakota.
I second that. I agree.
To me, North Dakota, just because it's like north, like we think, as Americans, for whatever reason, probably because we're in the northern hemisphere, we think as north is like first, more important. I think of North Dakota before I think of South Dakota. And if we're being honest, neither of them have a lot going for them. And my personal choice for the least relevant state is South Dakota. And for that reason, I must put it in my bottom 5.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to visit both. Both sound great.
Yeah.
Both,
I would love to visit neither, but okay.
I want to visit every state and just to like say I've been there, be like, yeah, there's
I agree.
nothing there. I went, was horrible, but I went. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, I agree with Will there. I think North Dakota is better than South Dakota. Wait, did you say that?
I said North is better.
North is better. I agree. But 47 for me, West Virginia. You guys said that like country roads doesn't have anything to do with West Virginia. I see West and I see Virginia. I just think that counts. So West Virginia is 47. The rest is terrible.
That's fair.
Yeah. 46.
46. So this is the last of the bottom 5 for us.
5, yeah.
The best of the worst then. And for this one, this is going to be a little controversial, especially because I truly love this state. But I put 46 as Delaware. Not because I think it's an awful state. I honestly, I love this state. I've been going there for a very long time for vacation. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. It like has inherent value. But I don't think it should be a state at all. And that's why it's number 46, is because it's so tiny on the map. It could be absorbed by Maryland and or Virginia.
Pennsylvania, maybe.
It'd be Maryland.
Sure, Maryland, yeah. And there would be no big a deal. Like Virginia Beach and a lot of other beaches along the Maryland coast are the exact same thing. And that is the whole purpose of Delaware. There's nothing else going on in Delaware. UDel is kind of nice, but whatever. But that's it. And I think that it could just get absorbed and it'd be no big deal. What do you have to say?
Yeah, William?
Okay, so I actually had a different state, very similar reasoning. I put Rhode Island, but it represented states like Rhode Island and then Delaware and then even Connecticut, honestly. Just the small states. Yesterday I made a joke. I said something about how everything in Rhode Island is 45 minutes apart maximum. And I just checked, and that's kind of true. Because it's taller than it is wide, and it's only 48 miles tall, which means if you were to drive 60 miles per hour on the highway, it would take 48 minutes to get there. Like, it doesn't need to be its own thing. Same with Delaware.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It was just it's like a city, that's like saying New York City is its own state, which it would be a better state than Rhode Island and Delaware. But they're so small, just to get absorbed into something bigger,
Yeah.
Be a road stop within a bigger state. It's not enough to be its own state. So I have Rhode Island, but I kind of Delaware.
Yeah. I think Delaware, I don't know if Delaware should count as a state. Like it's just not, I don't know if it exists. Delaware's pretty cool though, I got to admit. Except for UDel. They have the worst food I've ever had. Rhode Island, love Rhode Island. Shout out Abram Brown, my homie. I think Rhode Island's great. I think it deserves to be better. My 46 is Wyoming. Wyoming was said earlier. I just don't like the problem with Wyoming is it's just, I don't know what its purpose is. It looks like a square. Their biggest city I think is Cheyenne. Never been there. Don't really see what there is to do there. I bet they have good skiing, so I'll give them that. Maybe that's why it's not number 50, but
It has a Yellowstone National Park.
oh, okay.
That's why it wasn't my bottom 5. I value that.
I did not know that actually. We're basing this off of opinions and a lack of knowledge. So
Yeah,
that definitely
is
yes.
bliss.
There are like a quadrillion national parks, bro.
Yeah, no, but that's
but
the
Yellowstone's a bit.
That's like you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wyoming stays at 46 for me though.
No, I respect that. I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and then so that's our bottom 5. Now we get to do the fun part.
Wait, let's do a quick recap of our bottom 5s.
Sure.
Just
Run through it, Will.
So for me, it went worst or like most bottom to least bottom: New Jersey, West Virginia, Ohio, South Dakota, and Rhode Island.
Yeah, Ohio's still a little shocking for me. I don't think I ever said anything about that before, but Ohio's got some inherent value there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to pick something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. And then for me, I had number 50, New Jersey, number 49, West Virginia, 48, North Dakota, 47, Wyoming, and 46, Delaware.
Mm-hmm. I think it's fair. For me, New Jersey, number 50, I think it's just the facts. Then Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia, and Wyoming. Honorable mentions: Connecticut. It's just a tough place, and New Hampshire. Shout out my boy Ben Larson, but there's another question of whether. Well, no, actually, New Hampshire's pretty good. Sorry.
So maybe like Arkansas. Shout out Arkansas.
Yeah, New Hampshire's beautiful, but like, is it important? I don't know.
I was considering South Carolina too because it's the lesser of the Carolinas and it's pretty racist.
Yeah, those are tough.
It's
interesting.
That's in Tyler's top 10 based off of his reaction.
It might be in my top 10. This would be interesting.
That's yeah.
Mm-hmm. What was it? We'll get to it. It'll be fun. But anyway, what was it? Up next, top.
Should we start
10,
at 10 or should we start at 1?
I think start at 10.
Definitely start at 10. Are you kidding?
Okay, that makes way more sense. I just figured I'd load it.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys got for number 10? That's like my question.
What do I got? I have. Oh, this one's funny. This was just a little appreciation post. I have Louisiana for a couple of weird reasons. All right, I understand it has its flaws, but it has great culture with the whole Mardi Gras and like there's a lot of like Cajun culture from Haiti and stuff. Great food. For talking states with the best food, Louisiana's got to be in the top 5 in every conversation.
Yeah.
And I like thinking about the shape of states because I think when I think of a state, if I don't think of a city, I'm thinking of it on the map. And I like that it's in the shape of an L, which is what it starts with. So I wanted to appreciate Louisiana.
Mm-hmm. Fun fact, I have a friend from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Oh, really?
That's pretty cool.
He hates it. It's like the worst city in America.
Yeah, it's not great.
Very, very racist. But
it has a lot of
he also, what's interesting, he'll send me photos at night and it'll be like this gorgeous bright sky. And I'll be like, wow, like where are all those lights coming from? And he's like, oh, it's the pollution from the power plant. So it's another thing to think about. They're they're not great.
As we said, we're basing this off of ignorance and opinion.
Yes. Louisiana is pretty good though, I think, especially New Orleans area.
Its positives.
Visited my ex-girlfriend there. Story for another day, but I went there and it's pretty good, especially New Orleans. Like that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. New Orleans is definitely the exception to all.
Wait, yeah, New Orleans. People say New Orleans. I'm like, nah, it's New Orleans.
Nah, it's New Orleans.
Yes.
New Orleans.
But
the basketball team is a problem though.
Yeah.
Stimo, you want to take this one or should I?
Yeah, I'll just say my state. It's 5 letters. It's up there in terms of being up north. Maine's number 10 for me. I just go to Maine every summer and it's just beautiful. Shout out to my extended family out there. My cousins Devin, Soren, Maeve. They're just awesome. I just love Maine. It's too beautiful. If I didn't go to Maine every summer, it probably wouldn't be at number 10, but I just go there all the time. And it's just, I always have the greatest time there. Like when I leave Maine, I almost cry because I just have such a good time. So Maine goes to number 10.
Fair enough. And then at number 10 for me, I've got Florida. People love to trash Florida all the time, and kind of accurately, if we're being honest. But I would say in terms of like the positives, there are just, how you talk about how like even though Louisiana is bad most of the place, it's got New Orleans, which is amazing. Well, like Florida has like a bunch of places that are similarly like awesome. Not like culturally cool, but it's like, damn, it's got this place that's really good and really good and really good. But it's only got this one place that kind of like the rest of it overall kind of sucks. So it's got like, like Miami, it's got like what's the bottom part again?
Key West.
Key West. It's got a bunch of really pretty beaches. It's got Daytona. Like there's just
Oh no!
there are a bunch
Shout
of
out to Dad
highlights.
Bods.
Dude, Daytona. I want to go to the Daytona Speedway someday.
I want to go to Daytona.
But anyway, it's got a bunch of highlights in there that kind of negate all of the bad things and at least get it a 10.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
All right, so we're doing number 9 now.
Mm-hmm.
I have Florida for very similar reasons.
Ooh.
I had it in my bottom 5 at first, but on second thought, I realized, perhaps it was a little bit too harsh. It does have a lot of flaws, but it has a lot of positives. It's got Disney Land? No, Disney World.
Disney World, yeah.
Disney World. Never been. Hope to go one day. Key West is great. Actually, back-to-back states, Louisiana and Florida, with alligators. So that's kind of interesting.
Ooh.
And yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it has its positives. And you know
Mhm.
what? We can take the jokes and say that gives it a positive purpose. It gives us a scapegoat.
That's right. It does. The whole like Florida man meme, where like just like
Yeah.
you just
Florida
whenever
man.
someone that sounds stupid, you're like,
And then
"Oh,
every
that's
time
Florida
something happens, it's like, oh, thanks, Florida.
guy." Yeah, those memes are good. For me, Washington is my number 9. I went there a few years ago. It's beautiful. It's just too good. Seattle is a low-key amazing city, and Seattle low-key is great skiing if you go up there. It's just like it's a clash of cultures because like most of it, like I don't know if it exists, but then like once you get to like the Seattle area and that whole like west side of it, West Coast, it's just beautiful. All like the evergreen trees and stuff. I went up to like rural Washington at one point, and it's a great spot. You're right next to Canada. Canada is like another country we don't know if it exists, but it's just a great vibe. Love Washington.
That's the home of Starbucks. I know
Yes,
that's in
I went to
Seattle.
the first place. Yes,
And then was it Microsoft or Nike or something?
Microsoft, Nike's in Portland, I think.
Yeah, Portland and Seattle, I kind of get confused
Yeah.
sometimes.
All right, should we continue? Number 8, right?
Wait, did you do
Wait,
number
I don't
9,
think you said
Tyler?
9.
My number 9 was Texas.
Oh, that's a good
Yeah,
one.
this is a little bit of controversial because they're very red, but I think Texas has produced a lot of cool people, a lot of cool things. Celebrities over the years have come out of Texas. There's like a lot of cool cities in Texas. Dallas is really cool. Houston is awesome.
Except the Astros.
Yeah, Texas, it's huge. It's got so much to it. Cowboys, like that whole stereotype of like cattle rangers all comes from Texas. And I think that's like even if it might be like a weird like reality, it's a cool vibe. And then it's got really nice beaches, like the best beaches. So yeah. Who is it? Texas is a pretty cool state.
Yeah, so now we can go on to number 8. This may be bold, but I'm saying Montana. Now,
No, that makes sense.
everyone knows it's beautiful. It has great skiing. It's like Big Sky, Montana. That's a place where people ski, I believe. And it's just like if you had to like disappear and just like start a new life, like I would want to go to Montana. Just live that, rural, you're with nature. It's got these wide sweeping acres of land. Like it's just so beautiful and like you're connected with nature and stuff.
Yeah.
And it seems really cool.
There's a kid in my English class freshman years from Montana. I was like, I just like talked about Montana to him all the time. I was like, what is Montana? Like, this is awesome. I've never met a kid from Montana. He just loved it. It was great.
How do you end up at UMass Amherst?
I know that was my question to him, and he didn't know either. But I think Montana is a good pick. Tom Brady vacations there, so that's awesome.
Another reason is my sister's best friend would go there every summer because they had like grandparents there.
Yeah,
and I always wished I could go because it sounded like so cool.
That's pretty fair. For me, number 8, I gotta go with Alaska here. Alaska, it's just like so out there. That makes it like really cool. Just all the mountains, just all the like just being super cold all the time. Like that's technically not a good thing, but it's just like unique about Alaska.
Mhm.
Just like Anchorage is a really cool city. You all like the Anchorage area around it, it's just beauty. Fairbanks, you gotta give a shout out to University of Alaska Fairbanks. You know, shout out to all those who know about UAF back at home. UAF over UAA, and I don't know. Like there's a bunch of towns in Alaska where like you can only access them by plane. I think that's really interesting. It's just such a unique state. I think it deserves to be number 8 for men.
I agree.
I mean, I guess I don't think being unique makes you. Yeah, you know what? It's based on your opinion. It's fine.
Only facts here.
All right, yeah, I can respect it. Especially because mine is equally controversial. I had number 8 as South Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Yikes.
I think that while there are a lot of negatives that are associated with the South, and I cannot like erase those, I guess I kind of just chose to see the positive light in all this, especially because I've wanted to visit the South for a very long time. Like I think about like Charleston is a really cool city with like a lot of like interesting monuments. I think about like you know like the kind of chivalric like identity that they have, which is like so like foreign and interesting. It's something I would have to like experience. You know what I mean? Like you see those clips of people like I don't know like just doing all those weird traditions that they have. Like I think that's interesting and cool, and I would definitely want to go see that. Like that's like Chima kind of said, but even like on a more extreme level, it's something that like no other state has, and it's
Yeah.
just so wacky and fucking amazing. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I got to give them my number 8 spot for just being out there and unlike anything else we had.
Yeah, I guess I don't know a lot about South Carolina in terms of its culture, but if I was gonna pick one to visit, like to represent this like the Southern idea, I'd pick like Georgia or Tennessee or something. That's just me.
Yeah, Georgia
Um,
and Tennessee are good. I
so
do think South Carolina though, like that's a solid one. Really.
yeah, I mean it definitely has its positives. So like it's
Yeah,
controversial, but hey, controversy incites the crowds.
that's right. That's right.
Controversy engages the public. All right, number 7. So it was gonna just be New Hampshire, and I was gonna include Maine somewhere else, but I realized the reasons kind of are the same. So I'm just combining them. It's
Hmm.
fine.
They're like the same thing.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So I mean, both of them are kind of like like rural-ish, but Boston-y. And as somebody who's grown up in the Northeast, like I appreciate that. And as a Boston sports fan, I appreciate that. You know, you go to Maine, even Rhode Island, they're all Boston fans, and I
Yeah.
love that. My grandma has lived in Maine my entire life, so we would visit a lot. So I have good memories of like Owl's Head, Maine, which is just this cute little town. And also twice my family went for a week to Squam Lake, New Hampshire, when I was a child, which was just I have the best memories of that. Just this little lake. We had a little lake house, no TV. We had Nintendos, but that was it. And we were just playing outside in the water on the rocks. And I just have such good memories of them, New Hampshire and Maine. It's like a place I would go if I were to retire, you know?
Hmm.
If you're from Boston, you go to Maine. If you're from New York, you go to Florida.
That's right.
Not really, but kind of. So
Yeah.
New Hampshire and Maine collectively have my number 7 spot for their nostalgic value and their homey feel.
Hmm. That's awesome. For me, number 7, I gotta go straight up with Colorado. It's just Colorado. It's just the skiing, man. The skiing is probably the best in Colorado. Denver is really cool. I like how in Colorado, like one place can be like 30 degrees and then Denver can be like 60, but like the place that's 30 is like an hour or two away. I think it's crazy and I love it. Um, this it's just the skiing's too good over there. That's really it. Like that's why. Also, like they're the first state that legalized weed, so I think that's like very unique on them and definitely gives them some sort of culture. They have. I just think they have their own culture. I think that's awesome. Yeah, I love Colorado.
See, that's so funny because I also went with a very similar state. No, my number 7 is Utah.
Utah's
For
good.
almost the same reasons.
Yeah, very similar.
Utah was a great skiing, really pretty. Rocky Mountains are gorgeous. A lot of nature, a lot of vibes.
A lot of vibes.
Yeah.
All about the
It's just a
vibes.
nice state. That's really all I got to say about it. I don't really have too many negatives, just a lot of positives, a lot of vibes.
It's a very nice state.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so my number 6 is Colorado. So we all kind of agree.
Oh, hey, yeah.
You know, it's similar to Montana, where like parts of Colorado, like I feel like it's east of the Rockies or something. I don't really know exactly where the Rockies are. Like east of the Rockies is kind of rural, middle America. It's big open like farm areas. But then you got the Rockies, Great Mountains. Denver's a cool city from what I know about it, which is just a little bit. It's a cool city.
Yeah.
I forgot this, but Chima, you mentioned it was the first to legalize recreational marijuana, and that's pretty dope of them. You know,
Yeah.
Wait,
we're talking about vibes, and
That's definitely
your
part of the
vibes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What's
I was
that?
gonna say, can I keep the skiing vibes going? Because my
Yeah.
number 6 is Vermont, baby.
Yeah,
Vermont is very cool. Vermont is
Vermont's
very
I
cool.
was
Vermont.
considering putting Vermont in mine, but I never went skiing there, so it felt ingenuine.
Yeah, Vermont has great skiing. It's really pretty. Got a lot of snow all the time. Even during the summer, it's like so nice up there. I don't know. Everything is just always so pretty. Burlington is an amazing city.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and then it's just like very open-minded, friendly. Like there's of all the places in like the US, like Vermont might be like the friendliest place, you know?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I could definitely see it. I feel like there's a lot of old people in Vermont. Maybe not. I don't know. Just definitely gives me that vibe. Like, yeah, Ben and Jerry's too. That's a great reason to love Vermont. For me, Vermont's like a honorable mention. I think it's like an 11 through 20 type state, like a tier 2.
Definitely.
For me, number 6, I had to go Florida. Florida has actually been said by you guys as well, but lower. For me, just Florida, you just too many good places. Like Miami is like amazing. Key West, Florida Keys are great. Like I've been to Tampa before. Tampa has some really good stuff. Like great college football, terrible professional football. It's honestly like one thing I think is really interesting about Florida. Like Europeans, when they think of America, they're either thinking of New York, California, or Florida. Florida, just because like Sunshine State, like you go there to go to the beach. So I think it's really cool. Florida, it has a lot of international influence, like Miami with Cuba. There's definitely a lot of cons, but there's definitely some pros with Florida. Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. So, and then for number 5, I have the state in which we all were as of 3 days ago, Massachusetts. You know, because Boston's a great city. We all love Boston. 2 of us live in Boston, like now, basically. I live like near Boston, and you know, it's the home of my team sports that I like. And I was thinking, like, I'm gonna put New Hampshire and Maine in the top 10 for being like Boston-y. What would I do if I didn't have this state that had Boston? So that's why it's there. And you know, they got, is it the Basketball Hall of Fame? I think it's
in Springfield. Mass. Absolutely.
You know, a lot of good folks live in Mass.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never been there since I was like 2, but you know, like the Cape and Martha's Vineyard and stuff.
Oh yeah,
that's got to deserve a little shout out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, yeah. But anyway, keeping it rolling. My number 5 is California. This state, there's just so much. It's so big. There's so much to do. You can be down at the beach one day and then be skiing the next day. Like there's like every entertainment industry is there. It's really democratic thinking. LA is like the big city that everybody hates because it's toxic and because like the fumes are literally toxic. It's gigantic and spread out and it takes forever to get everywhere. That's probably why it's not higher, is because some of the big highlight cities are not actually as good as you think they are, but it's a great place to go if you're a tourist. and it's just iconic, right? There's no
Absolutely.
other there. It's one of those iconic states that's just gorgeous. So it couldn't really go any lower. But personally, I probably wouldn't put it any higher. Yes.
Fair, very fair.
Very fair. Absolutely. For me, number 5, I had to go with Texas. It's just like Texas has my respect because I think if there was one state that could leave the United States right now, I would pick Texas. California is a close second, but Texas, it has its own culture. Like the Texas flag, like all the cowboy stuff. It has its like barbecue. There's no better state for barbecue than Texas. I really would just want to go to like Austin or something just to have barbecue. Like that would just be too good. Um, so that's what I really like about it. I think like people in Texas, they have a lot of pride for being where they're from, and I think they have a lot of reason for it. A lot of interesting cities like Dallas, Houston, a lot of trash can banging over there. San Antonio, Austin, like all like cool places. Shout out to Perfect. Dude Perfect's from Texas over in Frisco. So you have to love that. You do have to. It's a must. That's facts. Um, so just too much good stuff in like Texas to leave it out of the top 5 for me.
Yeah, so gonna be similar stuff over here for number 4. It's Texas. Now, it's great food. It's so big, like there's so much to offer. Um, I'll keep it short so I don't repeat everything. But yeah, culture, food, sports is pretty cool. The fact that it's so big is like dope, honestly. Like that's so cool. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's iconic. And hey, it is red, as Tyler said before, but it trended a lot more blue this time. It was like 40% blue or something.
I think it was like 45. I don't know. I don't really like. I don't really judge a state based off of like where it votes typically, but
No, I
like
mean, but like it is cool that it's trending in a more
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
Wait, what was your 5?
My 5 was Mass.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. It's around 4 now.
Yeah, see, that's
Yeah.
funny because my number 4 is Mass.
Mass is a good one.
We've
Good,
already
like,
talked to
thinkers.
Massachusetts, a great state. It's got some of the best schools like ever. You know, Harvard, MIT, BU.
UMass.
Is it Tufts, UMass? All the great ones, all the great ones. And I don't know, it's got the best sports while we're at it. It's got
It
Martha's
does.
Vineyard. It's got like what every other state has, honestly, but just a little bit better. And
Mm.
it's got what every other state has, you know, the nice cities, the nice like universities, all of that, but it's just a little bit better. And at the end of the day, that's all you need.
Mm. For me, number 4 is New York. That's my home state. I'm from New York City. Like that's where I was born. That's where I was created. But you know, New York is just it's really just New York City for me that makes New York so good. Like New York City is just I think it's the best city in the country. Um I want to live in Boston, but New York just will always have like a special place in my heart. Just like the culture there, just all the immigrants, like the way they made New York City the way it is, I think it's so cool. Like you go to like
Yeah.
Little Italy and like Chinatown and like all these different cultures just in like one place. The food is the best New York in the country. That's the facts. Like New York pizza is just too good. New York bagels, like it's just the culture there is amazing. The rest of New York is awesome. Like you gotta give a shout out to Buffalo and Ben Stein. You have to because you just gotta love you Buff. But yeah, I don't know. The rest of the state of New York, like it's not as meaningful for me. That's why it's not higher. But this New York City and that area is just amazing. So that's why it's number 4. 3.
Tyler?
Yeah, no, I already went forward with Mass. Now we're on to
Oh,
number
right.
3.
Missed
And
it.
was it you want to go first one?
Yeah, I'll go first. Number 3, I have New York.
Ooh, that's crazy.
Because yeah, everything you said about New York City is so true. You know, it's the culture, the diversity. I've realized the last couple times I've went that like there's so much of just this small city that I have not been to.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy how much I don't even know is there. And then yeah, there's a lot of beautiful places upstate. Um, you got like Cooperstown, Baseball Hall of Fame. That's an adorable little town that's in New York. And yeah, Long Island kind of takes a hit, but I chose to ignore it.
Mm-hmm. You can just let it be.
Yeah, no, my number 3 is another repeat. Colorado. I put it a lot higher than the rest of y'all because I think it's really cool. But I don't know, skiing, Rocky Mountains. It's all pretty. It's got a lot of gorgeous nature. But I don't know. I've been to it a bunch more times. Probably why it holds a special place in my heart. It's just like it's a vibe.
It's such a vibe.
It just is. I know that's cheesy as hell, but what was it? I go to like the little like ski towns like Aspen, like I've been there a bunch of times and it's just so nice.
Yeah.
Then Denver is like the coolest city of all time. Just it's up there for me.
Yeah. For me, number 3, I went with California. It's just like I was debating whether New York or California should be there, but for me, just like New York, you just think of New York City. California, the whole state, pretty much. You go down the coast, you go to like San Francisco, and you got LA, and you got San Diego. Then it's like you go up north, and you have this great skiing. I've been skiing in California; it's amazing. It's just like also the culture in California is just unreal. I love how there's like a difference between like North California people, like the Bay Area, and Southern California people. I like that little rivalry that they have going on. So much tech over there, like Apple, if you ever heard of them, they're definitely there. And like Microsoft. Wait, no, maybe not.
Microsoft is in Washington.
Yeah, just I don't know anything, but it's all right. And like Silicon Valley, pretty cool. I have a bunch of Santa Barbara is a beautiful city. That's where my cousin Devin lives. It's a great spot. It's just too good to be out of the top 3. San Diego is so beautiful. San Francisco is so beautiful. LA is pretty cool. You just gotta love it all.
Definitely, damn.
I don't know why I thought Microsoft was in California.
So now we're at 2, right?
Maybe you think of Apple.
I've heard of it.
Oh, we think of Google.
Google, yes, they're there.
Google's in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
My number 2, California.
Oh, this is crazy.
There you go.
But I really think like, LA. LA has its identity. San Francisco has a different identity. There's so many cities and places throughout California that are equally like cool and like iconic, but very different reasons. They all have like different vibes. And yeah, the North Cal, SoCal thing is cool. Like there's mountains there. You can ski in California, and then you can also be like a foot away from Mexico. Like it's so broad. It's just so much.
Tacos in California.
Tacos, breakfast burritos are apparently like an LA thing that like you gotta try.
It's also a Texas thing, I feel like.
Oh, that's true.
In-N-Out, ooh. Oh
so for me, it's all there. And it's above New York because although New York City is in itself like the best in America, California has like a bunch of different top cities, and it depends on your taste. But I just thought California deserved the edge.
Jima, I don't know about you, but for number 2, I'm gonna say a state that has not been said yet, and it is Hawaii.
No.
Yo, no way.
I know it's coming up for the rest of y'all, but I wanted to beat you to the punch. Hawaii, baby, it is gorgeous for starters. It's so freaking hot all the time. I would say more than anything, it's just there's no bad parts of Hawaii. That's the one thing is like with every one of these states, I can think of a bunch of like things that might be good about it, and then I can also think of a bunch of areas that I think are not that nice. A bunch of suburbs or rural areas that aren't pretty or are uneducated or just not interesting at all. Every single part of Hawaii is interesting. There's like not enough of Hawaii for it to be like, wow, that part really sucks. I hate that part of Hawaii. Like Hawaii is gorgeous and interesting and fascinating. There's so much culture and history there that people usually forget because there's a lot of culture and history in America. And did I say it was pretty again? Oh yeah, I did.
Is it?
So that's my number 2.
Yeah, that's very fair. Hawaii is awesome. Number 2 for me, I had to go with a state that, I'm in at the moment, and that's Massachusetts. I love Massachusetts. It's just too good. I like how I feel like Massachusetts, like a lot of other states where they just had so much things going on. Like you can go skiing in Massachusetts, probably not the greatest, but then it's like completely different culture in like Western Mass where I am right now. Then you got like the whole Boston area. Boston's my favorite city. May not be like the best. I think New York City's the best, but Boston's my favorite. Fenway Park, you can't beat it. That's like the greatest place ever. Cape Cod, too good. Like, oh my goodness. I like how you can just go from Boston and you can just go to Cape Cod. I've taken a ferry from like Boston to Provincetown before, and you're just in the Cape, and the Cape is a whole nother level. It's like, I think it's better than like Florida beaches. I really do. I think it's just too good. That's a controversial opinion, but it's based on fact. And I don't know. It's just too good for me. I love it here. It's amazing. It's always been like my favorite state, so that's why it stays, just really up there.
There's also kind of a funny thing with Western Mass and Central Mass.
Mm-hmm.
People in Central Mass, there's something like Western Mass doesn't consider like some people's like definitions is like anything west of Boston is West Mass, but Western Mass people are like, no. If you're in the middle, you're not part of us.
Yeah.
And people there are like, no, we are. And there's some weird rivalry going on there. And that's probably true in like a lot of states, but that's kind of an interesting thing in a state like Mass.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So then my number one.
The big time. Number one. The greatest state out of like the 50.
The greatest state. Unfortunately, it's already been said, but I got Hawaii.
No.
It's so beautiful. It's exotic. It's crazy that you can go there, but like you don't need a passport because you're not leaving the country.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's there to say? It's literally a resort.
Yeah.
Volcanoes. Food. We're talking about food, and you might not like the food, but like it is good in the sense like it's it's ethnic, it's diverse in what we're used to. Probably a lot of negatives that we are just not told about or taught, but let's ignore those. Let's just enjoy the positives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hawaii is beautiful, and I want to go there.
Yeah, for number one for me, I went with New Jersey. No.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah. I went with Hawaii as well. I thought that would be controversial, but it's clearly not. Been to Hawaii a few times. It's just, oh my goodness, too good. And like all the different islands have something else like to add to you. Just amazing. All the volcanoes, all the beaches. I've been to a place in Hawaii where it's like it like snows, so it's crazy. Just too much good there. I don't know. So much like culture. I like how Hawaii is like influenced by like every country. Like you got a bunch of like Asian influence and you got the American influence obviously, but it's like you got like British and like European influence in it as well that just makes Hawaii what it is. It's just too good for me. I think it's the best state in America easily. It's like so unique, but it's not just unique. It's like unique but super high quality. If you ever go to Hawaii, you're never going to leave being like, oh, why did I go to Hawaii? It's just too good.
Yeah, so you guys both have the same number one. I am different, but I'm obviously going to say something that's already been said. My number one is New York. And
oh, wow. That's crazy.
I kind of agree with what y'all said about it. I would say New York is big and you can do a lot of stuff there. Kind of like California, but not to the same extent. But I think it's pushed above just by New York City. I think New York City is the greatest place on this world, and it's like the most powerful place in this world.
That's facts.
There's so much to do there that it outranks every other city and maybe even every other state by like a mile. New York City is incredible, and I don't think it can be topped, and therefore I don't think New York can be topped.
Yeah, I respect
that.
That's a respectable choice.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, once you get to the top, whatever, it's like, who even cares? They're all top states. Yeah. Should we run through the top 10 just for quickness?
Yes, definitely.
All right, so mine was from 10 to 1, Louisiana, Florida, Montana, New Hampshire / Maine, Colorado, and then 5 Mass, 4 was Texas, 3 was New York, 2 was California, and 1 was Hawaii.
That's right.
We were all in the same area for a lot of these, you know. We all had like Hawaii and New York and Massachusetts and California like all near the top. But anyway, sorry, my top 10 was from bottom to top: Florida, Texas, South Carolina, Utah, Vermont, California, Mass, Colorado, Hawaii, and New York. I had a couple of controversial ones down low with, like South Carolina, but the rest of it was kind of on point with the rest of y'all. So
Absolutely. For me, 10 is Maine, 9 is Washington, 8 is Alaska, 7 is Colorado, 6 is Florida, 5 is Texas, 4 is New York, 3 is California, 2 is Massachusetts, and 1 is Hawaii. Those are the facts. All 3 of ours are facts. So that's just awesome stuff.
The shout outs to ones that weren't mentioned, like
Absolutely.
on like Oregon.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking of.
You said
Oregon's
Alaska,
very good.
right?
Alaska is my number 8.
Yeah, Alaska's dope.
Nevada, because of Las Vegas. Well, Las Vegas is very unique. Georgia, I just think Atlanta is just such a crazy culture.
And there's like Savannah and other stuff.
Savannah, the Masters. Oh my god, gotta go there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well,
like Charlotte
anyway.
is an up and coming city.
Oh yeah, North Carolina I think is cool. I think Rhode Island's super underrated, but that's just all right. That's all right.
Definitely. Yeah.
Ohio doesn't count.
No. All right, I feel like that kind of wraps it up here.
We've been
I feel like it does too. Yeah.
We've been talking for a very long time, and I did not realize.
I know.
It's been a good time.
It just kept going.
It was good. I enjoyed this.
If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. Please like and whatever, do all the fun stuff. If you're on Spotify, thanks for listening.
Absolutely.
And if you're anywhere else, I don't know how you could be listening to us.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, check out our Instagram.
Absolutely.
We're all going to be on break soon, so hopefully we'll be churning out some little quick content on there.
Yeah.
Expect some non-podcast content.
NPC.
Eventually.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comment your top 10 states below.
Yes, definitely comment that. If you disagree with us, I know my dad will. Definitely, leave a comment and explain why.
That helps the algorithm.
You'll be wrong, but it'll be interesting to see. But I don't know, Tyler. Any thoughts here?
Look me up on Google. Westport, Connecticut, man. You find
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That I wouldn't want you to find.
Hit him up on LinkedIn.
Yes, connect with me on LinkedIn. I have like 200 or so connections. Need some more.
Tell your friends.
I could be of good value to your company. You never know. But yeah, it pretty much does it for us. I feel like. Is that fair? Like,
I think
this was a great episode. Let us know what other states we should compare. Maybe there's some other states you're not looking at. But just in the meantime, go enjoy some chocolate milk. Go hang out with your family and friends. Like we are in the holiday season, and make sure you're having some chocolate milk with them. But just in the meantime, until next time, see ya.